Greatness is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in moments of waiting. In a world that teaches us to want everything now, the strongest people are those who can say, "Not yet." Delayed gratification is not denial, it is discipline with vision. And every great life you admire was shaped by the courage to choose tomorrow over today. There is a quiet power in restraint, a power that does not look impressive in the moment, but shapes extraordinary futures. Delayed gratification is the ability to choose what matters most over what feels good now. It is the decision to plant seeds instead of eating them. It is the strength to endure discomfort today so that tomorrow can be meaningful. This is the hidden engine behind greatness. Greatness is not a sudden event. It is a long conversation between who you are and who you are becoming. Every day you are asked a simple question. Will you choose comfort or will you choose growth? Comfort offers relief. Growth offers transformation. The world around us is designed for speed. Messages arrive instantly. Entertainment is endless. Pleasure is one click away. We are trained to satisfy every urge the moment it appears. But the human mind was not built for endless stimulation. It was built for purpose. Delayed gratification is the discipline of purpose. It is not about suffering for the sake of suffering. It is about understanding direction. When a person knows where they are going, they are willing to wait. When they do not, they grab whatever feels good in the moment. This is why delayed gratification is deeply connected to vision. You cannot delay pleasure unless you believe in something greater than pleasure. You cannot sacrifice comfort unless you trust that the future is worth it. Every athlete who wakes up early to train, every entrepreneur who reinvests instead of spending, every student who studies while others sleep, every leader who listens instead of reacts, they are all practicing the same skill, choosing long-term meaning over short-term reward. Delayed gratification builds character. It teaches patience. It trains emotional control. It strengthens identity. When you consistently say no to what distracts you, you say yes to who you want to become. This is not about willpower alone, it is about values. When values are clear, choices become easier. You do not need to fight temptation as much as you need to remember your direction. A person who knows their purpose does not envy distractions. They see them as noise. Discipline is not punishment. It is protection. Protection of your time. Protection of your energy. Protection of your future. Delayed gratification also reveals who is in charge, your emotions or your principles. Emotions want now. Principles want forever. Greatness is not built by people who never feel temptation. It is built by people who feel it and still choose wisely. There is a difference between pleasure and fulfillment. Pleasure is fast and shallow. Fulfillment is slow and deep. Pleasure says, enjoy this moment. Fulfillment says, build a life. Every meaningful achievement requires waiting. Trust requires consistency. Skill requires practice. Respect requires integrity. None of these arrive instantly. They grow quietly over time. This is why delayed gratification feels difficult. It has no applause in the beginning, no reward today, no recognition now. It demands faith in a future that does not yet exist, and that is why it separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. Short-term thinking creates fragile lives. Long-term thinking creates strong ones. When people chase quick wins, they trade stability for excitement. When they choose patience, they trade comfort for confidence. Delayed gratification also changes how we see struggle. Struggle becomes investment. Pain becomes preparation. Effort becomes evidence of belief. You begin to understand that saying no is not loss. It is alignment. Alignment with your purpose. Alignment with your values. Alignment with your future self. Greatness is not loud. It is consistent. It is built in silence when no one is watching. It is built when excuses are available but not accepted. It is built when desire is present but discipline is stronger. The human brain loves reward. That is natural. But the human spirit seeks meaning. and meaning is always found beyond the moment. When you delay gratification, you are not denying yourself happiness. You are designing it. You are saying, I trust myself. I trust the process. I trust the future I am building. This trust becomes identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who reacts and start seeing yourself as someone who leads their own life. Delayed gratification is leadership over the self, and self-leadership is the beginning of every other form of leadership. Before you can inspire others, you must first master your impulses. Before you can guide others, you must first guide your own choices. The world rewards what is visible, but greatness grows in what is invisible, in daily discipline, in small sacrifices, in quiet consistency. Every time you choose effort over ease, you build a stronger version of yourself. Every time you resist distraction, you strengthen focus. Every time you delay pleasure, you deepen purpose. This is not a one-time decision. It is a daily practice, a habit of becoming. And over time, something powerful happens. You begin to experience freedom. Not the freedom of doing whatever you want, but the freedom of becoming who you were meant to be. Freedom from impulse. Freedom from regret. Freedom from a life controlled by comfort. Delayed gratification does not make life smaller. It makes it bigger. It replaces shallow satisfaction with lasting pride. It replaces noise with clarity. It replaces chaos with direction. Greatness is not found in what you take. It is found in what you are willing to wait for. And when you choose patience over pleasure, discipline over desire, purpose over impulse, you are not just building success. You are building a life that matters. Greatness is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in moments of waiting. In a world that teaches us to want everything now, the strongest people are those who can say, not yet. Delayed gratification is not denial, it is discipline with vision. And every great life you admire was shaped by the courage to choose tomorrow over today. Delayed gratification becomes powerful only when it turns into habit. A single act of discipline changes a day. A pattern of discipline changes a life. This is where greatness stops being an idea and becomes a lifestyle. Discipline is not about control. It is about commitment. Commitment to a future version of yourself that you have not yet met. Every habit you repeat is a vote for the identity you are building. When you wake up early instead of sleeping longer, you are not just changing your schedule. You are changing who you are. When you choose learning over entertainment, you are shaping your mind. When you choose effort over ease, you are shaping your character. Delayed gratification lives inside these daily decisions. It is not dramatic. It is not heroic. It is quiet and ordinary, but it is also unstoppable. Habits are the language of belief. What you practice daily reveals what you truly value. You may say you want success, but your habits show whether you want comfort more. You may say you want growth, but your actions show whether you prefer convenience. Greatness is not built by intention alone. It is built by repetition. Leadership is the clearest example of delayed gratification in action. True leaders do not choose what makes them popular. They choose what makes their people stronger. They do not trade trust for applause. They do not trade integrity for speed. They do not trade long-term vision for short-term results. A leader who avoids difficult conversations may feel peace today but creates chaos tomorrow. A leader who confronts truth with compassion creates stability that lasts. Delayed gratification in leadership means protecting culture over ego. It means choosing responsibility over recognition. Great leaders understand that progress is slow and trust is fragile. They invest in people before they expect performance. They build systems before demanding results. They plant seeds that they may never personally harvest. This is delayed gratification at its highest level. In life, the same principle applies. Every meaningful achievement begins with unseen effort. A healthy body begins with days when no change is visible. A strong mind begins with hours of study when no one is watching. A successful career begins with years of preparation before any reward arrives. There is always a temptation to quit early, to choose comfort instead of continuation. to choose distraction instead of discipline. But growth happens on the other side of discomfort. Pain is not the enemy, avoidance is. Pain and progress often feel the same in the beginning. Both demand effort. Both create tension. But only one leads somewhere. Pain without purpose becomes suffering. Pain with purpose becomes strength. Delayed gratification teaches us how to endure pain without losing direction. It gives meaning to struggle. It transforms sacrifice into strategy. This is where identity becomes essential. People who rely on motivation eventually fail. People who rely on identity endure. When you see yourself as disciplined, your actions follow. When you see yourself as committed, your habits align. When you see yourself as a builder, you accept waiting as part of the process. Identity answers the question, who am I becoming? And every habit answers it again. Consistency is the bridge between identity and results. It is not the size of effort that matters most, it is the faithfulness of effort. A little progress each day creates unstoppable momentum. Consistency builds trust with yourself, and self-trust builds confidence. Delayed gratification is not about perfection. It is about persistence. Some days will be strong, some days will be weak. What matters is returning to the path, again and again. This return is discipline. This return is growth. In leadership, consistency builds credibility. People do not follow words, they follow patterns. They trust what they see repeated. A leader who is patient today and selfish tomorrow creates confusion. A leader who is steady in values creates safety. Safety creates loyalty. Loyalty creates strength. Strength creates greatness. Life offers endless shortcuts, but shortcuts steal depth. They offer speed without wisdom, results without roots. When storms come, shallow success collapses, but what is built slowly stands firm. Delayed gratification creates roots. This is why great relationships also require waiting. Trust is not instant. Respect is not automatic. Love is not rushed. Strong connections grow through time, honesty, and patience. They are not built on constant pleasure, but on consistent presence. Every time you choose to listen instead of escape, to work instead of wander, to grow instead of settle, you are practicing delayed gratification. And these moments shape your future more than any single achievement. Pain is temporary. Progress is permanent. Pain asks, can you handle this moment? Progress asks, who will you become because of it? Discipline does not remove struggle. It gives struggle meaning. A life built on comfort becomes fragile. A life built on discipline becomes free. Free from regret. Free from chaos. Free from dependency on external reward. Delayed gratification creates inner stability. It teaches you that you do not need immediate pleasure to feel worthy. You need direction. You need purpose. You need belief. And when belief becomes habit, greatness becomes inevitable. This is not about denying joy. It is about delaying it so that joy can deepen. It is not about rejecting happiness. It is about choosing a happiness that lasts. The world celebrates outcomes, but life is shaped by process. What you repeat becomes who you are. What you delay defines what you deserve. Delayed gratification is not just a skill. It is a mindset. A mindset that says, I am willing to grow slowly if it means I grow truly. And over time, the person who waits becomes the person who leads. The person who resists becomes the person who rises. The person who stays disciplined becomes the person who stands strong when others fall away. Greatness is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of commitment, in routines that feel boring, in choices that feel difficult, in patience that feels lonely. But one day, those small choices reveal their power. And what once felt like sacrifice becomes strength. What once felt like delay becomes destiny. Greatness is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in moments of waiting. In a world that teaches us to want everything now, the strongest people are those who can say, not yet. Delayed gratification is not denial. It is discipline with vision. And every great life you admire was shaped by the courage to choose tomorrow over today. Delayed gratification does not only shape personal success, it shapes the quality of our relationships. Every meaningful relationship is built on the ability to wait, to listen, and to choose long-term connection over short-term satisfaction. Love grows when people resist selfish impulses. Trust grows when people keep their word. Respect grows when people choose patience over reaction. Strong relationships are not created by intensity, they are created by consistency, by showing up even when it is inconvenient, by staying when it would be easier to leave, by choosing understanding instead of winning. Delayed gratification in relationships means valuing connection more than comfort. Trust is always tested by time. It asks, will you stay honest when lying would be easier? Will you stay loyal when temptation appears? Will you remain patient when results are slow? Every time you choose integrity over impulse, you deepen the bond between you and others. Trust is not built in grand gestures, it is built in small, repeated choices. Delayed gratification also teaches freedom. Not the freedom of indulgence, but the freedom of self-control. A person who cannot wait is controlled by desire. A person who can wait is guided by purpose. True freedom is not the ability to do whatever we want. It is the ability to choose what is right even when what is easy is available. This freedom changes how we see ourselves. We stop measuring life by what we consume and start measuring it by what we contribute. We stop chasing applause and start building value. We stop reacting to the world and start shaping it. Delayed gratification also creates depth and character. It builds humility. It teaches respect for process. It reminds us that growth cannot be rushed. Just as seasons take time to change, so do people. Patience becomes wisdom when it is guided by purpose. In community, delayed gratification becomes service. It means choosing unity over ego. It means choosing dialogue over division. It means investing in others without expecting immediate return. Communities grow when individuals think beyond themselves, when they plant seeds of kindness, responsibility, and trust that future generations will harvest. This is where legacy begins. Legacy is not what you achieve. It is what you leave behind in people. The habits you model, the values you teach, the safety you create. Delayed gratification allows us to build something that outlives us. It transforms effort into influence. A life built on immediate reward ends quickly. A life built on meaning lasts forever. Every generation faces the same choice. Chase comfort or build character. Chase pleasure or build purpose. Chase attention or build trust. Delayed gratification is the bridge between who we are now and what the world needs us to become. There will always be reasons to quit. There will always be voices that say, take the shortcut. There will always be moments when discipline feels heavy and patience feels lonely. But those moments are not signs of failure. They are signs of transformation. Greatness is not glamorous in the beginning. It is invisible. It grows in silence. It grows when no one is watching. It grows when effort seems unnoticed, but one day that hidden work reveals itself. And when it does, it looks like confidence. It looks like wisdom. It looks like peace. Delayed gratification does not promise ease. It promises meaning. It teaches us that joy is not found in escape, but in creation. Not in pleasure, but in purpose. Not in taking, but in becoming. And becoming takes time. When we choose patience, we choose depth. When we choose discipline, we choose direction. When we choose restraint, we choose respect for our future selves. This mindset changes everything. It changes how we work. It changes how we love. It changes how we lead. It changes how we grow. A person who practices delayed gratification is not afraid of waiting. They understand that waiting is part of becoming. They understand that the future is shaped by today's smallest decisions. Every time you say no to distraction, you say yes to your destiny. Every time you resist comfort, you strengthen your character. Every time you delay pleasure, you invest in purpose. And slowly, quietly, a different kind of life emerges. A life with roots, a life with direction, a life with meaning. The world celebrates speed, but nature celebrates growth. Trees do not rush, mountains do not hurry, oceans do not panic. Yet they become powerful through time. Humans are no different. Our strength is not in how fast we arrive, but in how deeply we grow. Delayed gratification teaches us to respect time, to trust process, to believe in something larger than the moment. And in that belief, we find peace. Because the greatest reward is not what we gain, it is who we become. Greatness is not a destination, it is a way of living, a way of choosing, a way of being. It is built when we decide that our future matters more than our impulse, that our values matter more than our cravings, that our purpose matters more than our comfort. Delayed gratification builds greatness not by making life harder, but by making life meaningful. And when we look back on the path we walked, we will not remember the pleasures we chased. We will remember the discipline that shaped us, the patience that guided us, the purpose that carried us forward, because in the end, a great life is not lived in moments of ease. It is lived in moments of choice. And the most powerful choice we can make is this: to become who we were meant to be, not who the moment demands. To choose growth over comfort. To choose purpose over pleasure. To choose greatness over convenience. This is the power of delayed gratification. And this is how greatness is built. And over time, the person who waits becomes the person who leads. The person who resists becomes the person who rises. The person who stays disciplined becomes the person who stands strong when others fall away. Greatness is not built in moments of excitement. It is built in moments of commitment, in routines that feel boring, in choices that feel difficult, in patience that feels lonely. But one day, those small choices reveal their power. And what once felt like sacrifice becomes strength. What once felt like delay becomes destiny. Greatness is not built in moments of comfort. It is built in moments of waiting. In a world that teaches us to want everything now, the strongest people are those who can say, "Not yet." Delayed gratification is not denial. It is discipline with vision. And every great life you admire was shaped by the courage to choose tomorrow over today.